Talk about Super Valis 4 a little bit. So, Super Valis 4, I gotta say I'm pleasantly surprised. The box art does this game no favors, but I think that could be said about a lot of these Super Nintendo games I've noticed as I've done this series that, yeah, they're just not looking the best. But the game itself is pretty damn fun, honestly. Still couldn't figure out playing it if it's like the fourth game in the series or it's just called Super Valis 4 or whatever. But regardless, it's actually a lot of fun. The power ups are good. Like the music was actually really solid for the two levels that I played. The gameplay felt nice. Well, it mostly felt nice. Again, as I was playing it, I don't like the platforming. The platforming is not this game's strong suit, but they kind of do it a little bit too much. I've already noticed. Um, but I do like the central gimmick of the game, though, where it's like, if you explore the levels and find the stuff, you can get all these weapons to boost yourself up for the boss fight. But then, of course, you're also risking yourself getting damaged by the enemies that are surrounding you. And there was no health up. There was no health improvements that I could see. So if you took too much damage for getting the boss, that was an issue. And of course, if you also took too long and the boss has a lot of HP, that's also an issue. So it's more often than not, if you're a novice player, it might be more worth it to just like kind of hoof it to the boss. But then you have to find the boss. Like the first level, very straightforward. But the second level, you have to explore a little bit to kind of like find the area, and then you got to do that platforming. That again, this game it's not this game's strong suit, even though they have forced you to do it. Um, so yeah, I would say this game has like a lot of ups and a lot of downs for sure. Um, but it does make me curious though. And that was the normal difficulty. I can't imagine how difficult it would be if I tried the hard difficulty. It was already kind of tough. I didn't make it past level 2. Oh, I didn't see the boss of the second level to see what he could do or what she could do. I don't know what the second boss was. Maybe it's that tiger that's on the title screen there. Who knows? I ain't get to see it. It's a tough game, and the continue system is mostly fair because if you have to continue, you have a limit to continue, so you can keep going as long as you need to, which is nice. But of course, if you have to continue, then you start from the very beginning of the level. So no matter how much progress you have made on these otherwise tedious levels, you got to do it again. That's another thing I want to say real quick. Yeah, that second level was really big, and it really felt like it really didn't need to be that big because there was really nothing in those levels. I gotta give credit where credit's due when a game has like big levels that actually have stuff for you to do. But this level was like needless. That second level was like needlessly big with not a whole lot in that middle section or even that top section. Not a lot of enemies or whatever. It was just kind of big for no reason. Just to kind of like eat up time for the boss to just get stronger. And I don't know if I like that. I don't know. All in all, I would just say about Super Valis 4, it's honestly a really fun game. It just has like a few little nitpicky things that kind of really hold it from being like really great. Like when I first started playing it, I was thinking to myself, why is no one talking about this game? This game is great. And then as I started playing, I was like, oh, okay, so it has this little problem, it has this little problem. And individually, none of them were like ruin the game, but they do kind of add up when you put them all together. And again, if you're playing the game, solo and you're trying to like get through it, the continues, when you do continue, you don't get your power-ups with you. So that's another thing to consider. So when you're second or whatever attempt that you're doing, you won't have those power ups. So the run is going to be that much more harder for you to complete without the power ups you did gain. So if you're a novice player, I would definitely. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. I don't mean to yawn so much. It's just like I really did work a lot today. I'm pretty tired, but anyway, yeah, I really do recommend that if you're going to if you're a novice and you're playing this game, definitely use those suspend points. So if you do happen to die, you can just come back with your power-ups because it's really hard to come back from that otherwise without your power-ups. It just makes things a lot harder. Each level does have a lot more power-ups, but if you want to just keep stacking them, it might be worth it for you to use that. But if you don't want to use it, that's A-okay. Normal difficulty is by itself enough of a challenge for you to go through. If you really want to punish yourself, there's also that hard difficulty, so you have that option. I think this game does hold up. It was actually a lot of fun. You might need... I was gonna say you might need a guide, but you kind of don't. I guess it's just the levels seem kind of confusing, but I guess they're secretly straightforward, even though they seem kind of confusing. It's definitely not a perfect game, I'll say. Like this game does have like a lot of flaws, but if you enjoy platforming games that have a nice variety of weapons for you to use. I think you'll have a lot of fun with Super Valis 4. It's definitely worth a check if you really are into this kind of game. It's like, the platforming games with some action to it. It might be your jam. You might actually really enjoy it, because I was very pleasantly surprised by this game, even if I didn't like everything about it. So that's my thoughts on Super Valis 4. I think it does hold up, despite its flaws here and there. It's a fun game. Try it. But